So amplify your affirmations to oomph level status. So I met Bob on Substack, and he is the Abundant Life with Bob Baker, and I am the mindfulness coach on Substack. And Substack is this really fun platform. It's kind of a blend of where you can do your newsletters, your blogs, and your social media all in one. So it's like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, MailChimp, and ConvertKit, and WordPress all in one place. And so that's how we met. And we decided we're all about affirmations. So we do this little presentation. So here's my piece. I have a background in yoga and I have a background in linguistics. So I kind of combine those two passions of your physical body and how it moves and how it expresses itself with body language, and then how you speak with words. And when you link your words with your physical actions, there's so much more power to things. So that's what we're going to do today. Words are spells. I really think that words have magic. So you have to be careful. You have to taste your words before you spit them out and use them wisely. And what I'm going to show you today is how to use your affirmations through the sounds and then link them to your physical actions to amplify things to a higher level. So I got to give you an example. You want to be careful what you affirm because it's really going to manifest. So there's a very, very common affirmation I hear coming out of women, especially women on the Bachelorette show or the Bachelor show. They all say, I'm a strong, independent woman. Yes, you are a strong, independent woman. And if you affirm that, you're going to manifest that in your life. You're going to manifest a strong masculine energy and an independent perspective of, I can do it myself, which doesn't work so well in terms of attracting an ideal partner or building a partnership. If you're strong, independent, confident, you're going to build that energy of, I can do this by myself. And the reason that is because of the sounds and the words in strong and independent. I had a client who came to me with this exact affirmation. And she spent her entire life raising children as a single mom and a strong, independent woman in the career workforce. And she worked her way up to CFO of 2 major corporations. And she built herself as a very strong, independent, powerful status. And then she came to me at the end of that, and she said, my kids are raised, they're strong, they're independent. I've got these companies that I work for, and I've got them to where they need to be, and they don't need me anymore either. And I'm tired of being masculine. I want to attract a partner. I need to change my energy. So we came up with a new affirmation. Be certain what you affirm. The new affirmation we came up with was based on Maya Angelou. I am a phenomenal woman. Because she is very phenomenal, not just by Maya Angelou, but my client. She had done phenomenal things in her life. And the F, M, N, and L sounds in phenomenal are very feminine energy sounds. They're very soft, they're very soothing, they're very mothering, they're very nurturing. And that's very different than the masculine energy of strong. They empower that feminine empowerment. And so she took that, and then it emphasized the word woman, and she owned her grace. She came to me 2 weeks after starting this affirmation because I also gave her a feminine action. I talked to her about swishing her hips as she walked and moving with a little bit more feminine action, a little bit more flow. So for 2 weeks, she went around flowing her body, saying, I am a phenomenal woman. 2 weeks later, she came back to me and she said, I did something I've never done before. I bought a dress that was flowy and foo-fooey and very feminine. I've never worn or bought a dress like this, but I was totally attracted to it. And I went to a corporate CEO meeting wearing this dress, and I got more compliments than I've ever gotten before. And I got more energy from the people I was speaking to in a softer way than I ever had before. People were responding to me. They didn't lose my strength. They didn't lose my power. They just spoke to me in a much more gentle way than ever before. They weren't scared of me anymore. It was this really powerful shift that was feminine. By shifting from I'm strong, independent to I am a phenomenal woman. I've given this shift in affirmation to several women, and they all come back to me with this same kind of change, that they're really seeing something different by choosing their words more carefully. So this is just one example, and we can't go through every example in a 20-minute presentation, but I'm going to give you some of the letters and phrases and the way things work. So first, I want to talk about the woman herself, Maya Angelou. This woman was silent for much of her early years. And in that silence, she analyzed how language worked. She understood by listening. And through listening, she became a linguist and a poet and a master of the English language. And she says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I want to take that slightly to a shift and say your inner self, the person you are talking to with your affirmations, will always remember and respond profoundly to how those affirmations make you feel. So you have to create your affirmations in a way that they really make you feel something inside. And when I ask my client to switch from strong, independent to phenomenal woman, she really felt it on the inside. It was a shift she really wanted to make, and she liked that change. And it made her feel differently. And that feeling, as she emphasized it with a swishing of her hips as she walked, became her new embodiment. So how do you feel an affirmation? There's 5 rules here. And I'll pause a little bit if you want to write these down. Number 1, you want to keep it short. I'm talking really short. Less is more. 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 words, but no more than 7 words, because you want to be able to remember this. It has to be so potent and so concise and so powerful that you can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it without forgetting it. So keep it short, 3 to 5 words max. I am a phenomenal woman, 5 words. Start with I am. That's rule number 2. When you start with I am, you are starting with the ultimate affirmation of all. Because the phrase I am comes from the original Sanskrit. When you translate I am into Sanskrit, it is Hamsa. Hamsa means I am. And Hamsa is the sound of your breath. Ha, sa. So when you start with I am, you are affirming everything on your breath. And breath is your life. Breath is your life force. Breath is your energy. So when you start with I am and you keep it short, that's making it feel in your whole body because you breathe through your whole body. Rule number 3, you want to keep it positive. If you say I am not angry, yeah, that's only 4 words, but you're affirming the word angry. And then you're going to feel and repeat and energize the word angry. Even though the word not is in there, it's a 2-step process. So you want to keep the words that you really want to feel. All of them, keep them positive. Rule number 4, make it memorable. Memorable is something that is really different, something unique. I like to use alliteration. I like to use rhyming. I like to use sounds that really have a buzz to them that is sticky, something that's passionate, something that's like outside the box. It's so much more powerful to say I am a phenomenal woman than it is to say I am empowered. Empowered is overused. Phenomenal is a word that has a unique twist. And 5th, you want it to be in present tense. This is something you're feeling and experiencing here and now. If it's something that you think you're reaching for, you should still phrase it in the positive and think of it as a way that part of this I have now in my life. Because really the way affirmations grow is if you find a tiny little seed of something you already have and you throw and gush gratitude at it. I am this, I appreciate this, I'm thankful for this. And the more you gush that gratitude and affirm it, the more it grows. You don't want to be reaching for something you don't have, because then there's always a longing and there's that feeling inside you that you're not going to get it because it's outside your reach. So it should be in the present tense. So those are my 5 how to feel an affirmation. Keep it short. Start with I am, stay positive, make it memorable, and be present. Now I'm going to give you some letters and sounds to use. So vowels. Vowels are in every single word. So how you choose your vowels give you a different energy. And this comes from how the vowels feel in our bodies. This actually comes from ancient yogic practices and the way that Sanskrit as an initial language was derived. The vowel sounds give us physical sensations in our body. So the I sound, I is growing. I am rising. That's a growing, reaching, extending sound. The E sound, like the I, but sounds like E, I am free. That's a lengthening, going longer, elongating, enduring, lasting sound. So I grows up and E grows out. Ah is very opening and calm. It's opening and resonant and echoing and reverberating. It has that emitting resonance. And then ooh is very grounding. I am rooted. I am growing down. I am getting solid. I'm getting safe and stable. So if you want a growing, like reaching up sound, right, reaching up feeling in your body, you got to do an I sound. If you want to get lengthening, like you want something to last, go with an E sound. If you want to open up to new perspectives, use an ah sound. And if you want to get down, grounded, practical, and purposeful, use a rooted sound, an ooh. We're going to get into some consonants now. Soft and soothing sounds. If you're feeling like you want something soft, soothing, calming, relaxing, use the F like fluff, the H like hello, the L like a lull, M like mama, N like nana, W like awe. All of those softer, soothing sounds will give you that softness in life. If you're dealing with harshness or sharpness or eekness, these sounds, these letters in your affirmations can make a huge difference. Just like my client looking for a softer life as she's moving towards the retirement and away and more into empty nest, she's not having to push and strive so much. She wanted softness. So I gave her phenomenal woman. FMNW, all of those, FNWL, all of those letters are in that sound, in those words. Hard and sharp sound. Say you're feeling too soft and you want to get a little bit sharp. You want to punch. You want to snap into things. Use the C as in cut, D as in dig, K as in kick, Q like quick, T like taut, and X like fix. All of those sounds will give you that sharp, pointed action, want to make something happen now, purposeful, intentional, sharp. Moving sounds. Now, these are sounds that like elongate, they last, but they also create some action. They create something to move. Not so sharp and not so penetrating as the sharp sounds, but these are more like bouncing, like bubble, or G for giggle, or J for jolly, or P for pop. These sounds give you a feeling of getting out of here and now and into something else. They give you a jump. Even jump uses those 2 words, J and P. So those sounds give you that oomph, that movement, that action into something new, the floating of a bubble. And then lingering or elongating or lasting sounds. These are sounds that you can actually hold as you sing, like R, roar, hiss, slither, vivid, fizz, Z. These R, S, V, and Z sounds, they have like a texture to them. They have like a crackle that they last. And you can tell that they're creating some sort of endurance. So here's an example. And I think I got most of the letters of the alphabet in all those letters there. Here's an example. I came up with this. This is actually my affirmation that I write down 3 times every single morning in my gratitude journal. I am blooming brilliant, or I am blooming brilliance. The letter B is so bouncy and buoyant and bubbly. It gives me that movement and action. Like I want to go somewhere. And it's giving me that happy, bouncy energy. Yet the double O's of that blooming is a very big opening sound. It's almost like both sides of the heart opening up and my heart just opening. It's like the ah, but it's an O. While bloom implies youth and beginning, adding the ing at the end of it, blooming, gives it this everlasting freshness. So it's like a beginner's mind that lasts forever. And then you add the trilling R and the double L's in brilliant, and that almost feels like a drum roll. Like I'm blooming on this emerging flower that has this, oh, there's something coming. And that something coming ends in that exclamation point of the T. The T at the end of brilliant is this, yes, boom, something's landing. Or if I'm in a softer mood that day, I say brilliance. And that gives it just a softer energy at the end. So this is the affirmation I've been working with myself as I'm getting ready to launch something in my business. I am blooming brilliant. I am blooming brilliance. So you can amplify your affirmations. And one really simple way to do that, I've given you this example over here. I am a phenomenal woman by using those letters throughout the sounds of the word. That's called assonance, repeating a letter inside a word. But a really easy way to amplify your affirmation is to use alliteration. Choose one of those letters that has the energy that you want it to be. And then you use that word, that letter as the beginning of the words of your affirmation. So I am making magic moves. And that's got that softness of the M. Remember, M is a softening energy. But it's also an enduring sound. You can your way through life. And you can make that M last. So making magic moves gives you that feeling of like, I love this life. And you're making the moves towards something that's going to taste good. Versus, I am popping with passion. Popping with passion. That P sound is repeated 3 times in that affirmation. Popping with passion. And it begins, it's like, yes, I'm bursting out of something. And it also has that softness of the SH and the N sound. So it's not a sharp pop. It's not like a balloon scaring you, but it's more like a bubble popping, like, ooh, that playful little giggle bubble. And if you want to burst your life into a little bit more excitement because you've been in that boredom and humdrum has that droning M. Popping with passion gives you that little bit of giggle, that little bit of oomph. Or I am living a luscious life. And this is my favorite one to use for manifesting abundance. Instead of saying I am abundant or I am prosperous or I am rich, because those are very overused phrases, they're language that has been almost lost its energy because people use it too often. I say I am living a luscious life because that L sound, it's soft, but it's also luscious. And I love the word luscious. It makes me feel and taste things on my tongue. It's almost the word that gives me the sense of eating a very delectable meal that's really delicious and almost high quality. That's what luscious gives me. And then you add living and life on top of it. And it's also an enduring sound, luscious. That L is a long lasting sound. So this is not just I'm going to get a windfall of money and blow it all at once. This is My life is long term, lasting through a long time of lusciousness. I am noticing all the good things that happen every single moment. And juxtaposing or like sandwiching the word luscious with living and life is like, I've got luscious inside both sides of life, the beginning and the end of life. Luscious is just smack dab in the middle of everything I do. So you see how amplifying your affirmations is really about language and phrasing. And then if you take each one of those, like I did with my client and the phenomenal woman, and I had her shimmering her hips. What if you take each one of those and you apply it to a physical action? So, for example, I'm popping with passion. What if every time you said that, you did a little jump, almost like to get that tickle heel feeling when you go over a tickle hill in the car, or that feeling of getting just a little bit of air? It helps you feel a little less dense, a little less heavy, and a little bit more light, that popping with passion. What if when you say, I am making magic moves, you vibrate your M's. I'm making magic moves. And you move your body while you're walking. And you think each step, I'm making magic moves with every single step. That movement, that action, that step is taking you to the next place of a magic move in your life. Or I'm living a luscious life. You do that as you eat. You say that affirmation in every bite. You be so mindful and focused on that luscious bite. You are devouring lusciousness. You are eating it like the sandwich that life is in between. You are imbibing, ingesting, and taking that lusciousness into every ounce of your being, because it's going to go into your body and you're going to taste that food and you're going to enjoy that raspberry and you're going to suck on that chocolate and you're going to swallow it down. And then that's going to become nourishment for you and feed the lusciousness of your life. And then you'll start to notice all the other places in your life that you're luscious. So those are examples. And all of you I know right now are probably thinking, whoa, that's a lot. How do I do this for myself? So I do one-on-one coaching and I do help you. And at the end of this call, when we do the audio questions, I can help you rephrase your words. But you can share with me in a session what you want and you desire in your life, what you don't want and you need to remove out of your life, and the affirmations you've tried. And then I'll help you find the just right words that make your heart bubble and your soul sing. I'll help you find the just right sounds and the words that are magical and memorable to make your body feel those sounds, and link those to a physical action that then when you do them, you're actually feeling them, like Maya Angelou says. So if you want a one-on-one call with me, here's the website. I'll put it in the chat. Maybe Lisa will do that for me, where you can book a session with me for half an hour and we'll get you that perfect, awesome affirmation for you. I guess I didn't stop to give any chance for questions in the chat, but I also didn't hear any that were coming through, or I didn't see any coming through. So that's where I'm at. I think I'll pass the buck over to Bob and his abundant life.
Very nice. If you do happen to have anything you want to pop in the chat while it's fresh in your mind that what TeriLeigh spoke about, you can take the opportunity now. Again, we're going to wait to the end to do the audio Q&A stuff. But I just want to say, yeah, that was amazing. Because I am a writer, not only a writer, but an author of 16 books, so I consider myself a wordsmith. And I know that I intuitively, when I'm choosing the affirmations that I record and put out on my YouTube channel and such, I have this, there's the way they feel to me is important. But I never really dissected them in the way that you did. I never really broke down the consonants and the vowels and all that. So that was really like an in-depth look. And I am a big fan of alliteration too. And I'm so glad that B's are bouncy, buoyant, and bubbly, because with a name like Bob Baker, I guess that makes me bouncy, buoyant, and bubbly. Huh? So I love that. So yeah, thank you for doing that. Yeah, and so yeah, you put that link in there. If you have one more thing you're working on. Anne says, if you have more than one thing you are working on, do you create affirmations for each thing? Did you want to answer that before I get going?
Sure. My answer to that would be you want to keep your affirmations simple. And so if you can't apply one affirmation to multiple things, then you want to do different things. But if you keep them simple, you find that they are more general and they can apply to many things. Like I am blooming brilliant can apply to my business as well as it can apply to my relationships. I am blooming brilliance in relationship. So you can choose affirmations that apply in different ways, and then how you use them and where in your life you use them, they will work for you in every way.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do my portion here, but if you still, at the end, yeah, hang on to any questions that you can ask TeriLeigh. Then let me get myself. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. Hang on a second here. I clicked the wrong button. All right. Hang on a second here. Slideshow, presenter view. There we go. All right. I love when I talk to myself as I'm setting this up. Let me share my screen and we should be ready to rock and roll here. Everybody can see that? Yeah. All righty then. So yeah, here we are. Amplify your affirmations to the oomph level. You just heard from TeriLeigh. And so I'm going to do my segment here. And so most of you on the call probably already know who I am, as you probably, but just in case you didn't or don't, or maybe just discovered my affirmations, I'll just tell you a little bit about who I am. So I'm happy to say that I run one of the most popular YouTube channels for affirmations and positive self-talk with nearly 400,000 subscribers. In fact, I think just today or this early this morning, I think the odometer turned over to 396,000. So I'm 4,000 away. So in several weeks, I should hit with the rate of new subscribers, I should be there in within a couple of months, and nearly 600,000 views every month. And this really boggles my mind. But there are around 7,000 people, not 7,000 views, but individual people who tune in daily to listen to my voice for a boost of positivity and encouragement. And I know a number of you fall in that category here on this call. So I really appreciate you finding my stuff and benefiting from it and continuing to listen to my voice. I have been self-employed in the arts for much of my life. I'm a musician. I'm a visual artist. I teach and perform improv comedy. I just love all aspects of the arts. And for many years, my mission was to help musicians, authors, and creative entrepreneurs use their talents and know-how to make a living and make a difference in the world. So a lot of my books over the years, 16 of them since the mid-90s, are on music marketing and book promotion and kind of personal empowerment for creative people. And the most recent book is right there on the screen, Power of Affirmations and Positive Self-Talk. It's the first book specifically related to my YouTube channel, and I know a number of you already own this particular title. You'll also find my affirmations in the Hay House Empower You app. Late last year, I became a Hay House teacher, which is the home to Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer and Joe Dispenza and Abraham Hicks and just a ton of other iconic people that I've followed for years. So it's just amazing for me to be kind of even associated with them in a minor way. But you can also find my stuff on Insight Timer, on Spotify and Apple, and also my affirmation meditation podcast. So I just find as many ways as possible to get my voice and these affirmations out into the world. And I'm coming up on about 7.5, close to 8 years of doing these things on YouTube. And so I've gotten a lot of feedback. I have an intimate relationship, you might say, with affirmations, to where I think I have some advice that I'm going to share. So here I'm going to cover my top affirmation best practices. These are going to be my suggestions on what not to do. Although I don't have a whole lot of hard and fast rules, but there are some things I suggest you not do, and then what to do to get the most out of your positive self-talk practice. And I use that word practice because I do believe it should be a regular thing. It should be part of your routine in good times and bad. And so let's just start right off going into some of the things that I think are not the most effective way to use affirmations. And one of them, don't you love that look on my face? Uh, avoid doing affirmations about other people. Here's some examples. Jimmy is now getting good grades in school. I think it might be a son or somebody, or a whatever, a nephew. Or Emily is attracted to me and wants to go on a date. These are not the best affirmations because you don't have any direct control over other people's feelings and behaviors. And while, yeah, the affirmations can be referred to as a spell, I wouldn't think of them in terms of like voodoo, where you can manipulate someone else to do something that maybe they're currently not wanting to do. So that's not a good use of affirmations. The best way to do them is the things that you do have control over. So I mean, yeah, you can, as much as you love your son or daughter or someone, a loved one, doing affirmations that they're going to feel or do a certain thing has limitations. But what do you have control over? So how about this? How about I recognize Jimmy's intelligence? I offer encouragement and I do my best to provide an environment where he can thrive. Now all of a sudden I'm really super super sensitive to my vowels and consonants. So after hearing that, um, uh, so and the one with the relationship, instead of saying a specific person wants to go on a date with me, you might say, I am a kind and loving person who is worthy of having a mate who loves and appreciates me. So these are things that you have control over. You can't influence Jimmy, but you can offer, like I said, a supportive environment. You can see him in his brilliance. You can wish the best for him. So what are the things that you can control? And it usually comes down to your reaction, like how you feel, how you show up for that person, how you show up in your life. So yeah, so always, if you find yourself wanting someone else to do something or a situation to be different, always make your affirmation refer to how you are, something that you have control over. All right. Avoid affirmations like this. Also, I think TeriLeigh touched on this for sure. Today, I will not let the negative people in my life get me down. Now, I think we can understand the idea behind it is a good one. You're frustrated with somebody, and so you're affirming that I'm not gonna let them get me down. But look at the word choices in there. The word "not" is in there. The word negative people is in there. Get me down. These are not helpful things. So your goal should be to always focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. That's just a general life, I think, piece of advice. Certainly we want to be aware of obstacles and prepare ourselves for unexpected, things that come up. And there's always going to be challenges in life. But overall, you want to keep your focus, your attention on what you want and not just obsess about what's going wrong. And that's what an affirmation like that does. It just reinforces those negative people and how they're getting you down. So how can you change that wording? The good news is that a statement like that can easily be reworded to serve you better. So here's my suggestion for that. Today, I will stay grounded and look for the good in the people I encounter. It has the same end result in mind. You're not thrown off by these people that might be creating hurdles in your life, but it's not focused on your aggravation with it. It's focused on what you want. I want to stay grounded. I want to see the good in the people I encounter. And if I do encounter someone who's, I'm kind of adding to this, but that that you're going to stay grounded in the face of whatever adversity that you encounter. So any affirmation can be reworded to serve you better. And I know I'm going to come back to this concept too. So there you go. What do you have control over, and how can you put a positive spin on it? And it's also in the present tense, today. I know will is there. I guess you could say today I am grounded and look for the good of the people I encounter. Maybe that could be a little nuanced wording that you could add to that. Here's another thing. I'm going to talk about some myths or some frustrations that people have, and even other experts who kind of look down, or there's some people out there that will, I think, to promote their own agenda or system, will say affirmations don't work. But here's some of the things I just want to address them now. What if you don't truly believe the affirmations that you're saying? Like, I am abundant, or I am living an amazing life. And your brain goes, no, you're not. Can that make you feel worse? Well, some people believe it can. And I think you have to decide if you don't feel good saying particular affirmations, it's probably, well, there's two thoughts about this. I'm gonna show you my two angles on this, and you can pick. You can do them both, or pick one or the other. So what happens when you say an affirmation and it triggers you and your brain is resisting? So there's two ways you could do that. You can rewrite any affirmation so it rings true for you. There's something to be said for saying these affirmations to where they feel authentic. They feel like it's reflecting where you are, where your mindset, where your life is right now. So if I am abundant is not really triggering you, or as I should say, is not really resonating with you, and especially if you say I am a millionaire and you've got like $10 in your bank account, certainly that's going to send off some alarms. So you can reword that to mean the same thing, or to have a similar end result. How about this? I love this one for money. I am ready for a new relationship with money. Isn't that true? No matter how much money you have, no matter how much you're struggling with finances, I'm ready for a new relationship with money. And the implication is in the back is that I'm kind of tired of this road that I've been going down, but you're not stating it in those negative terms. You're saying, I'm ready for a new relationship with money. And that should ring true. Another one is, if not enough is coming in, how about I am open to new streams of income? Isn't that true? Even if you've hardly got any money to pay the bills, you are open to new streams of income. You are ready for a new relationship with money. So if an affirmation is not working for you, or making you feel that, that voice inside going, that's not true, and making you feel worse, you can just reword them to ring true to where you are at that particular time. And the interesting thing is, you'll respond to these in different ways at different times, different days of the week, different times of your life. What might seem uncomfortable one month might feel perfectly natural and authentic another. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, so that's the one aspect of this. But here's another way to look at it, which I've been talking about more and more in recent years. And that's, don't completely demonize those negative feelings that you get when you say an affirmation that doesn't seem to be ringing true, because what it's doing is it's actually your underlying belief system fighting to stay alive. It's revealing a negative belief that may be holding you back. So actually, it's a gift. If you say an affirmation and you go, that's not true, and you're feeling uncomfortable, it's making you feel worse, take a minute to pause and monitor your thoughts and ask yourself, why am I feeling that way about this? And what's the belief? What's the pattern that's causing me to feel that way? And realize that could be a subconscious, something that's in your subconscious that's affecting your life, And so this is actually good to bring that out in the open. And so it's not all bad to have a negative, or maybe not such a positive feeling. Ideally, you want to. But there's a gift in it when it's this way. So here's another option, is to say them anyway, and know that what you are doing is dislodging those old patterns and slowly replacing them with a new, empowering mindset. So even though you might have that initial reaction, if it's really a mindset that you're wanting to embody, whether it's a new career, more money, a new relationship, better health, and you're not there are people that benefit from continuing to say them anyway. I have their example. Anthony's a friend of mine. Actually, I met him. He's a musician, a drummer, and initially we He became aware. He became aware of me through my music marketing books, but he followed me as I went into this direction with affirmations. And there was a particular program of mine that he did that he just went all in, and he like did these abundance affirmations for, actually he said like he did them every morning for like 2 years. I have this program, which is it's a 7-day thing that you repeat over and over, and you're supposed to be like doing it for 3 weeks, but he did it for 2 years. And he's shared a lot of this story with me where he had this small landscaping business, started off just mowing lawns, but he wanted to support his family, and he had these ideas of building a landscaping business, and he built it over years. And I remember him sharing with me when he hit like $1 million, gross revenue. I think he's up to like 3 million. He's got all these employees and equipment and all this stuff. And he's in Bloomington, Indiana. And he's like one of the top like landscaping businesses there. He also had this idea for his dream home, with a pool and all that. And he would do affirmations about that. And he's shared with me that early on when he's doing these things, his mind is going, is that really possible? Like, was questioning it, I don't really, can this really happen? So there was definitely doubt as he was saying them, but he kept saying them anyway and wore down and continued to take action toward that. And eventually he manifested those things that he talked about, that even with the negative, response to them initially, he stayed with it. So there's a lot of different ways to approach these things. I don't believe there's like a hard and fast rules. I think it's really like, I love that Maya Angelou quote that TeriLeigh talked about. It really comes down to, how do these things make you feel, and do more of that. But there's something to be said for benefiting from a negative reaction to them. At least it brings awareness, or you can keep doing them if you know it's really something that you're meant to do, or a lifestyle or a mindset that you aspire to, that you deserve. Maybe like pushing through that negative thought could lead to better things. So it's another option, another way of looking at this stuff. All right, let's talk about a couple of affirmation myths. Affirmations are just wishful thinking. And you get a lot of the naysayers saying things like this. And you might think that repeating positive phrases is just fluff, but there's actually solid science behind it. I'm just going to read what I've got there. Affirmations can rewire your brain by reinforcing positive thought patterns. According to neuroscience, when you consistently repeat affirmations, you engage in something called neuroplasticity. You may have heard of that. It's the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. And so that kind of speaks to what I was just talking about. When you start doing affirmations after a long-standing pattern of negative thinking, your brain's going, no, it isn't. No, we like this comfortable way that we've been thinking of keeping us small. But by repeating these affirmations and doing other things, taking action and meditation, journaling, vision boards, there's so many tools that you can use. You can reorganize your brain and your mind and the way you think about these things. So your brain is very fluid, but it does take time to undo something that's been ingrained for years and perhaps decades. All right. So another thing is, a lot of people think affirmation should work instantly. I see so many comments on YouTube about, I did these abundance affirmations for 2 weeks straight and no money is showing up. Well, there's a whole lot of reasons why that could happen, but people think that they just say them and there should be magically things appearing. And so it's very possible that they're not also adding some behavior elements to it. Meaning, what are you doing? Are you interacting with other people? Are you taking that action that we mentioned? Or are you just saying these things? But they don't work instantly. They don't always work instantly. Actually, there's some ways that they work instantly. They can make you feel better. You can have a feeling of empowerment or positivity or gratitude pretty instantly. But when it comes to manifesting things like houses and cars and relationships, that may not happen overnight. It can, but when it doesn't, don't think that the whole thing is, this doesn't work, right? So while it would be fantastic if we could instantly manifest our desires just by speaking them into existence, the reality is that it takes consistent practice over time. And just like building a muscle, Developing a positive mindset requires patience and repetition. You're not going to go on a new, nutrition regimen and start working out, and after a week go, oh, I don't see that six pack abs yet. But this stuff doesn't work. It takes time, and so just know that. Let's see here, which is why I recommend a daily affirmation practice in good times and bad. Because a lot of times I know this from people people often come to either my YouTube channel or my podcast when they're struggling. You're struggling. They've lost a loved one or a pet. They've just lost their job, a relationship breakup. They're struggling with money and they need to get their mojo back. So they seek this stuff out. They listen for a while and do other things, and they get to feeling better. And then they move away from it because I'm better now. But time and time again, I see comments about people who said, "Well, I got away from this for a couple of months, and man, I really felt it. Now I'm back, and this really helps me, on my daily, in my part of my daily routine." So my recommendation is if you're only going to do this once a day, do affirmations first thing in the morning. If you have time, you can combine them with, again, meditation, journaling, any other practices that you have. And even sometimes before, I used to say first thing in the morning when you get out of bed to do them, but a lot of people, myself included, before your feet hit the floor while you're still in bed, play something or say something or write, or do them to set the foundation for your day, to set an expectation and an intention for your day before you just jump up and start reacting to things, right? If you can do it again, a great thing is, again, to do them again at bedtime. That creates a great bookend effect where you're starting your day with a solid foundation and you're ending it by looking back on the day, expressing your gratitude for the things that happened, lessons learned from the things that maybe didn't go as expected. And so you begin and end your day before and after sleep with this feeding your mind with this positivity. Also mix up, because you can be like when you first start doing affirmations or any of these other personal development tools and practices, especially after a rough period, you've had a dark night of the soul, and you start doing these things and you're feeling better. You go, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to do this forever. But after a while, you say, oh, I'm not feeling them the same way. And so mix up what you say, the affirmations that you use, what you listen to, and because you want to add variety. At least I need to do that. And you want to avoid something that's actually, this is a scientific word called habituation. I talked about this on a recent Sunday Inspiration Live, where there's actually this thing, the way your brain works. It's basically related to the honeymoon effect. When you have a new relationship or a new job, or you move into a new house, you get a new car, it's exciting, this fresh, and I love this thing that I'm either driving or living in or in a relationship with this person. But after a while, once that becomes sort of a normal thing, it's quite common it doesn't have the same impact. And it works both ways. Your joy diminishes with repeated exposure to something, and also your frustration diminishes, which is I found interesting, because this kind of explains why you have friends and you're going, man, why are you staying in that dead end job? You always complain about it, but the frustration or the negative impact of it also will diminish over time, and just like joy and excitement diminishes with repeated exposure. And so the best way to do that is to add variety. So listen to different affirmations. If you're just not feeling them at all, take a little break, but make sure you come back to them, replace it with another morning routine or whatever. And so just continue to make them work for you. Before I get to this, I realized in my putting this together, there's two other things. There's a slide I meant to add, so I'm just going to talk about this really quick. There's two secret ingredients to, and TeriLeigh definitely touched on them. I just want to re-emphasize them. So saying your affirmations, making them ring true for you, great. But when you can, the two secret ingredients, one is emotion. If you can add a sense of emotion, if you really visualize that thing, what you're saying, see it in your mind's eye, or however you feel it in your mind's eye or ear, and do it with a sense of emotion. That's why I love making some of our musical affirmations, because you can actually sing them and dance them. You get your body involved in them. And so the more you can add physicality and emotion to what you're saying, the deeper it's going to have a lot more of an impact than if you're just saying them, out of routine, which can happen with that habituation. And then you have to back this up and pair it with action. My motto for my mission in life for a couple of years now has been, I'm on a mission to inspire and uplift humanity, one positive thought and one inspired action at a time. And I purposely added the inspired action because you got to pair those two things. And I think it's really important to living a healthy and fulfilling life. A couple of things here. I mentioned the book. If you want to a really affordable way to take a deeper dive into this stuff, The Power of Affirmations and Positive Self-Talk. My book is available on Amazon in at least 13 countries. It's available in paperback, ebook, just Kindle version, and actually it's also available in ebook formats on other sites too. And also audiobook, which you can get through Audible. So it's pretty much wherever books and audiobooks and ebooks are sold online, you can probably find it. A number of you already do own it. But so if you want an autographed copy and if you even have a CD player, and we have an album called Opening Up to the Good that my wife Pookie and I created some years ago. And if I'm shipping to a U.S. address, you can get that autographed copy. Pookie would be happy to sign it too. We'll send that to you priority mail for $25 U.S. That includes priority shipping. So that's an option for you. Just go to bobbakerinspiration.com, bobbakerinspiration.com, and there's a link there on that homepage where you can go and find out more about that. And it also has links to Amazon if you prefer to, if you're outside of the U.S. or you just want to get it from Amazon, do that because it still sells pretty well. Also, I think most of you probably heard about this because you're already on my email newsletter. Like I said, I rebranded it to The Abundant Life. But if you're not and you would like to get some regular email updates from me, I'm using that platform called Substack that we mentioned earlier. And you get some free gifts when you sign up. Also go to bobbakerinspiration.com. There'll be a link to it to where you can sign up right there on that homepage. And you'll get a free copy of our Turbocharge Your Life ebook that my wife and I wrote. That's really a lot of people have raved about. And then you'll get regular updates from me through my Abundant Life newsletter and through Substack. And a really cool aspect of this platform is that they're free and paid options. If you just want to continue being a free, get a subscription, you'll get plenty of, links to my latest YouTube videos and other updates. But for a low fee of like $7 a month, you become a paid subscriber where you get some exclusive content and where I go a little bit deeper than just affirmations. As much as I love affirmations, are just one of many tools that you can use for personal transformation. Speaking of which, I had hoped that by tonight I would have this ready to rock and roll, but there's a project that's like 2 years in the making that's called the Personal Transformation Matrix. It's a life-changing heal, activate, and connect process that my wife Pookie and I have literally developed slowly but surely over the last couple of years, combining all of our personal experiences through personal growth and development and overcoming the challenges in our lives. And we put together this program that's like kind of an online course that comes with a community that is a simple, it's somewhat simple 3-step process that can be described as heal, activate, and connect, where we kind of lay out for you what we believe are the steps in the right order that you can really truly transform your life. Because we had to piece this together through trial and error over the decades of our lives, but we think we have something here that can really change people's lives, whether you're, again, wanting to improve your relationships, improve your finances, your career, your health. And if you're interested in that, get on the email list or reach out to me, because there's going to be, just on the verge of making this available to the public. Paying members of our High Vibe Tribe community will actually get a pretty steep discount. And then also paying members of the Substack Abundant Life newsletter will get a smaller discount on this thing. And if you're interested in it, let me know, and you'll be one of the first people that I'll send a message to when it's available, ready for prime time. But this is like our signature system. This is going to be the thing that I'm going to be promoting for probably years to come as our core offer moving forward. So I'm really excited to get this out into the world. All right, that's that's what I got going here. Let's do. I know it looks like there's been a lot of comments, and I've lost track of them. Lisa's popping some stuff in there, but this is an opportunity to, if you have questions for either one of us or both of us, there's a couple things you can do. Zoom has a digital hand that you can raise, or if your camera's on, you can just physically raise your hand and come on in and ask a question, or if you have a comment, or did you have an insight or an aha moment here? I'd love to know. Lisa, you want to go? Go for it. You should be able to unmute yourself now.
I'd just like to start off by saying thank you so much. I found this so fascinating, really. And the one thing that popped in my mind, there's that phrase that says, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Well, it is what you say. Obviously, it is what you say. But I love how it is how you say it, too. I love how you take those sounds and you also add that physical movement. What a great way to reinforce those positive affirmations. I'm all about affirmations. That's how I found out about Bob. And yeah, they've changed my life. So I love how you amplify them. And I just wanted to say how fascinating I think this is and how I'm going to carry this with me forward in my own walk. So thank you so much. That's what I had.
Thank you. Hey, Lisa, well, I have you just share, because you shared this with me, like when you first, it was recommended from your boyfriend to my YouTube channel like 4 years ago or so. And you didn't really, and at first they weren't like an empowering thing. Like what was your initial thought, and how did that change as you did them more?
Well, it was just like you said about Anthony. I think you said his name was correct.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I knew that I needed to change my personal self-talk, that the things I was telling myself weren't what I needed to be telling myself. They were negative and not very friendly. And so when I first started doing affirmations, it was very foreign to me. I had been around a lot of toxic stuff in my life. And so saying these good, affirming statements about myself felt foreign, and I didn't want to believe them. I had a hard time. And so just like your friend Anthony, I had to intentionally stick with them. And I started with the gratitude ones first as well, because it was easier for me to find things to be grateful for in my life than to start personally affirming myself. And so it kind of grew. I got accustomed to the gratitude ones, and I started embodying that gratitude, and it just grew from there. And so, yeah, and there's still times where I'll go to say some affirmations and it just doesn't sit right. And like you guys have stated tonight, just being able to rephrase those or just to shift it to something else is useful. But yeah, that's how I got started in them. It was hard. I had to push through, knowing that it was for my best.
Right. Yeah. When I started doing them decades ago, I just felt silly and just like, who is, and then plus Al Franken on Saturday Night Live had that character, Stuart Smalley. Remember, he goes, yeah, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And he's kind of making fun of affirmations. So I probably fed into that, oh God, what are people going to think? I better not tell anybody that I'm doing them. TeriLeigh, I'll be happy to, she put in the chat, and she mentioned earlier that she would be happy to do a little quick coaching here, and you share with her what you're wanting to accomplish, and maybe and she can help you word an affirmation. So feel free to raise your hand about that if you want some of that, or any other comment you want to make. Crystal, earlier I said, how long does habituation take? Does it depend on what's happening in my life? Should we do affirmations for 21 days or more? It's so, and then Holly also left some comment about habituation. That was a word that I came up with in some research that I did. I forgot the author. I think it's in a book or some research that, I don't know if it's Caroline Leaf or who I think it was somebody else. No, it was a researcher from decades ago. I don't think there's any set. Yeah, I don't think every 21 days switch it. It's really about how are you feeling about them? Like Anthony did the same affirmations, or there were 7 of them, but that he rotated through for 2 years. So if you're still feeling it, if it still feels like it's working for you, I mean, go 6 months or whatever. But if you're starting to feel like, oh, this is stale, I'm just not feeling it the way, oh, I'm not, I'm just saying them and kind of doing it on autopilot, then that's a sign that you should change it up. So I don't think there's any hard and fast rule. It's like, are they working for you? Do more of what's working, do less of what isn't, or switch it up when it starts to feel a little stale, or that you're just not really feeling it, right? So I think that's the best barometer, not a set time frame. TeriLeigh, you got anything on that, or? But
not on that specifically.
Okay.
I did mention in the comments already, but I like to end class. I'm here for questions if people want to throw their affirmations at me, and I can help you rephrase them with better letters and language. And if there's no one wanting to do that, I do love to hear, what's your aha? What did you learn tonight? What's the one thing you're taking away as, yeah, I'm going to play with that one.
Absolutely.
So please share that with us.
Because you did say that did you do the affirmation you said you do every morning? What's that? Was it the B words?
I am blooming brilliant.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that on a regular basis?
It's probably been about 6 weeks now.
Oh, 6 weeks. Okay, so it's relatively.
So that one's not so long. That one's pretty new.
Yeah.
But that one's really powerful. It's really working. Like, I feel the bubble of that one.
Cool. So yeah, we would love to hear, what's your takeaway? What's that little nugget that I never thought about that before. You can use the Zoom hand raise or physical if you're.
We got shy ones tonight, huh?
No, usually I'm going to call on somebody that I know is here. Some of the people I know from our high vibe tribe. Is it I see you turn your, is it Noha? I saw you turn your camera on. There you go. Come on in.
Hello, Bob. How are you? Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, hello. Thank you, Terry. Today, thank you for what you say, because I was listening to what you are saying about can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you hear me? Okay.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Bob, for inviting us. Thank you, Terry, for what you teach us today. And I want to ask you, I speak another language, not English. So I speak Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do in this case, like love, it's in English. Hub, it's in Arabic. Okay. But I read about you that you can, from how I speak, the way I speak, you can tell. Okay.
Yes.
So, for example, I will tell you, we say in English, good morning, have a good day. In Arabic, we say it, نهارك حلو, like this. So, so if we speak another language,
If you speak another language, it's the basic truths are still there, in that how it makes you feel is what matters. And the base sounds also have those same feelings and sensations. So what you just said, that I can't repeat it because I don't speak Arabic, but the sounds were very opening. You had a H, you had an ah sound, lots of H ah sounds, and that's a very opening. It's like opening your arms. And you said it means good morning. So it's a greeting that's like, hey, I'm here. Let me hug you. Let me invite you into my space. So even though it's a different language, it has the same energy, but slightly different because there's the culture of that language as well. And for example, German is much more guttural in its sounds. And I'm guessing Arabic is more ha, opening, more throat resonating. And the culture is that way too, whereas German is more guttural, more grounded in their culture. And so we could spend hours, and I'd probably have to do a lot more research on the different cultures and the different languages, but every language and its sounds is going to reflect its culture. And those sounds are going to have the emotions and the feelings. And so you
Okay.
need to play with the sounds and what emotions and feelings they pull out of you. However, those vowel sounds I gave you, those are universal.
Uh-huh.
Those come from Sanskrit, and Sanskrit was the base language of all languages. Sanskrit was the original. Arabic came from Sanskrit. English came from Sanskrit. Latin came from Sanskrit. So the sound, the vowel sounds, the ah, the e, the growing e, the lengthening
So,
I, or
so
the
like my,
lengthening E and the growing I, those are all going to be universal.
so like Noha. My
Oh,
name is Noha.
right. Noha is, it's both grounded. The no is a very grounded, amplifying or energizing, earthy sound, and ha is opening.
Oh, okay.
And the N is very feminine.
Ah,
So it's a
okay.
feminine, earthly mother earth energy of I and I embrace from a solid groundedness.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Feminine. Wow. Opening, yeah. Like Lisa. Lisa.
Yeah. Lisa is a totally different sound. Lee is that elongating. She emanates wide. And then if you say it Lisa with a Z, there's that buzzing resonance. It's got that texture to it. But then it ends in that ah, which is very welcoming as well. So growing welcoming with a tinge of fizzle, like there's sass in her, and you can see it in her face. She's very sassy.
Yeah, I can see.
She is sassy. That's
Thank
great.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for joining
Mhm.
us. Yeah, Holly Ann put it there in the comments. She actually works in Dubai. She splits her time between Dubai and India and Australia, where she lives. Um, but she's familiar with that language. I know. And yeah, anyone else want to come in and just share anything that they got from this? You don't have to, but while you have the opportunity, Chona Joy, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. She just put an affirmation in there. I don't know if you want to comment on it, TeriLeigh, but she says, "I am radiant, vibrant, vital, flourishing, opulence, and thriving in the extreme. I am an extreme thriver. I am a super thriver."
I like the evolution of that. It's actually three affirmations because it's three sentences.
Right.
And if you follow the rules I gave you, I would say simple is better, so shorter. So I actually prefer the last one. I am super thriver because I love the R sound at the end of it. Remember, R is revving, R is long lasting, R is a roar. It lasts and it has a buzz to it. And so to end with super thriver has that, ooh, yes, it's going to last. And then the V, I actually just wrote about this in my Substack. The letter V is very vibrant and vivid. It's about being alive. It's about funneling all the stuff of life into one point. So to thrive is another element of alive, but it's got a little bit more fizzle to it with that TH in it. And so if I were to choose any of those three that she listed, I would stick with I am a super thriver because it's simple that you could say it on a step. I'm a super thriver, super thriver, super thriver.
Yeah.
And it can be something that becomes part of a heartbeat of your life with that resonant R sound really penetrating in your pores.
I
Like
love that.
it lasts.
I love that. Because the sentence right before that, I am an extreme thriver, could be a little, I don't know if it's what the word is, aggressive or masculine, maybe, compared to that last sentence.
You
Right.
called it because the sounds, the X and the T are very sharp. They're very pointed. They're almost like getting stabbed. And so it's a little more than masculine. It's almost like stabbing. It's a little
Yeah.
too harsh in my ear.
Right. So there you go. Great advice here. Yeah. So pay attention to the words you're using, the consonants, the vowel sounds, and then it seems to be the reoccurring theme. But really, how does it make you feel? You know, as long as it's feeling good and it's serving you,